The notification lit up my screen at 7:19 p.m. Don't call. Don't come over. We're finished. I stared at it, read it again, and then one more time, not because it was unclear, but because it was painfully, brutally clear. No build-up, no argument that day, no long explanation, just a single sentence that severed a relationship that had existed since the moment I was born. It was from my mother. Mirror, I didn't fire back a paragraph. I didn't ask why. I didn't beg. I typed 2 words. Understood. Then I set my phone face down on the table. I waited for the wave to hit: panic, rage, heartbreak. Instead, what crept in first was something I didn't expect: relief. Because for years, walking into Mirror's house felt like stepping onto a stage where I had to audition for permission to exist. Every visit came with unspoken tests. Every sentence I said had to be edited in my head first. Every opinion I voiced was brushed aside as dramatic or overthinking. That text didn't create distance. It just made the distance official. The next morning, I didn't cave. No, are you okay? No, can we talk? No scrolling to see if she'd posted anything. I did nothing. I treated her words like a boundary, not a game. Days passed. The silence that followed was deafening at first, like an empty room that used to be filled with shouting. Then, slowly, it transformed into something unexpected. Stillness. With the noise gone, I started noticing how light my mind felt. No guilt-tripping phone calls. No sudden demands disguised as family emergencies. No emotional landmines hidden inside. We just want what's best for you. Just quiet. About a week later, my phone rang. Aunt Leela, what happened between you and Mirror? She asked immediately. Nothing, I replied. She's upset. My aunt continued. She says you don't care anymore. I smiled to myself, not out of spite, but at the sheer predictability of it. She told me not to call or come over. I said, I'm simply doing what she asked. There was a long pause on the other end. You know she didn't mean it like that. Aunt Leela tried. That's exactly how I'm taking it. I answered calmly. Because for the first time in my life, I wasn't twisting myself into knots trying to decode hidden meanings. I wasn't solving emotional riddles that were never mine to solve. I wasn't translating her anger into something softer just so I could tolerate it. I was taking her words at face value. And honoring them completely. 2 weeks passed, then 3. Still nothing from Mirror. And in that silence, something painfully obvious surfaced. Something I'd been too busy overfunctioning to see. I had always been the one doing the work. I was the one who called first to check in. I was the one who drove across town just to say hi. I was the one who apologized first, even when I wasn't wrong, simply to restore peace. I was the one who adjusted, explained, softened, forgave, and started over. When I stopped initiating, there was nothing. No effort from her side. No attempt to bridge the gap. Just proof that what I thought was a relationship was actually me holding together a one-sided connection all along. One night, I opened an app and saw Mirror's status, a quote about ungrateful children who abandoned the parents who sacrificed everything. I didn't reply. I didn't screenshot it to send to anyone. I didn't even roll my eyes, because reacting even with justified anger would drag me back into the same exhausting loop. Instead, I closed the app and returned to my life. I worked, I slept deeply, I started going for walks without my phone. I saw friends who actually liked me without conditions. I read books without that familiar tension called in my chest. For the first time, I was not emotionally available on command round the 1-month mark. My cousin Noah called. Hey, your mom is really hurt, he said carefully. She told me you just cut her off. She didn't think you'd actually stop talking to her. I didn't cut her off, I said calmly. She told me not to call or come over. I'm simply respecting that. That's not what she meant, he insisted. Then she should have said what she meant, I replied. Silence on his end. Because this time, I wasn't decoding feelings or guessing at intentions. I wasn't playing interpreter between her behavior and her unspoken pain. I was honoring exactly what she wrote. And words matter. They carry weight even when they're fired off in anger at 7:19 p.m. More weeks drifted by. I kept living. No dramatics. No secret countdown to when she finally apologizes. I had made a quiet decision. I would respect the boundaries she created, even if she never expected me to. My dad, David, called once. Are you seriously not going to reach out to her? He asked, almost whispering, as if Mira could somehow hear him through the phone. I'm doing what your wife requested, I said. Steady and calm, you can't just. He began. I cut in gently. And I'm respecting her limit. That's all. He didn't know what to do with that. He was used to me being the emotional buffer, the one who smoothed everything over to preserve the peace. Without me doing that, he was left to face her moods alone. My sister, Sarah, tried a different approach. She texted constantly. Hey, can you help me with something? Did you see what mom posted? Why are you being like this? I miss you. But whatever, questions, requests, guilt disguised as concern, small manipulations wrapped in casual tones. I didn't reply. I wasn't punishing anyone. I was simply refusing to step back into a role that had cost me my peace. Silence became more than an absence of words. It became my boundary, my shield, my way of declaring, I'm not playing this game anymore. Then, one afternoon, my phone rang. Mirror. I stared at her name for a moment, letting the weight of it register. I answered. We need to talk, she said, but there was hesitation in her voice I'd never heard before. I didn't rush to fill the silence. After a pause, I said, okay, I can stop by tomorrow. The next day, I drove to her house, not with a rehearsed speech, not with anger simmering beneath the surface, but with a calm I had never carried into that space before. When I walked in, she was already in the living room, pacing slightly, avoiding my eyes. I shouldn't have sent that message, she blurted out. I was furious. I wanted to hurt you. I nodded slowly. I know, I said, and I respected your message exactly as you sent it. She blinked, almost confused. You really didn't call. You really didn't come over, she said, as if it had only just occurred to her that her words had consequences. I didn't, I replied. I honored the boundary you set. Her expression shifted, first defensiveness, then confusion, then something softer, a realization she hadn't prepared for. It made me think, she admitted, sinking onto the edge of the couch. I never realized how much I assumed you'd always be the one to show up, to listen, to calm me down, to fix things, to adjust me. That's because it became normal for you, I said quietly. But it was never supposed to be my job. My life isn't a tool for managing your emotions. Tears gathered in her eyes. I didn't see it that way, she whispered. I just thought you'd always be there, no matter what I said or did. I am here, I said, but not like before. I'm willing to be present, but on terms of mutual respect, not obligation or fear. Something shifted in that room. She was used to shouting matches, slammed doors, guilt-laced apologies. She was used to me crying, defending, over-explaining, or collapsing into forgiveness just to end the tension. This time was different. No yelling. No accusations, just calm, steady boundaries. We talked for hours, not about who was right or wrong, not replaying every wound, but about the structure of our relationship itself. We talked about space. About respect, about the pressure of unspoken expectations. About what it means to be two adults relating to each other, instead of a parent who controls and a child who submits. By the time I stood up to leave, she hugged me. Not a desperate, clinging embrace from someone afraid of losing control, but a quiet, genuine one from someone who, for the first time, recognized that she could actually lose me if things didn't change. I walked out of that house knowing something crucial. Relationships don't heal just because people stay close. They heal when boundaries are real, when consequences are allowed to land, and when silence is permitted to say what words cannot. In the weeks that followed, I noticed small but important changes. The tension in our conversations eased, the subtle digs, the guilt-laced comments, the emotional landmines, they started to fade. If Mirror didn't like something I said, she didn't explode. She took a breath. Sometimes she even said, okay, I need a moment, instead of turning it into an attack. I didn't feel like I was walking on shattered glass anymore. When I visited, it was because I chose to, not because I felt obligated. I could leave when I wanted. I could say no to favors. I could say, I don't want to talk about that. And the subject would actually change. My presence became voluntary. And because of that, it became meaningful. Mira never sat me down and said, "You taught me a lesson." But I could see it in the way she looked at me, the care in her tone, the pauses before she spoke. She had thought cutting me off would crush me. Instead, it confronted her with something she had never truly felt before, my absence, and that hurt her more than she ever anticipated. That was the lesson. Sometimes the strongest connection is not formed by clinging tightly, but by learning to let go. Sometimes the deepest message isn't delivered through a screaming match, but through stillness. Sometimes the respect you quietly demand with your boundaries accomplishes more than any dramatic monologue ever could. By simply taking our words seriously. Don't call, don't come over. I reset the entire foundation of a relationship. No shouting, no begging, no long apology texts. Just consistency. Months passed. The changes didn't arrive all at once. They came in small, almost unremarkable ways. Mira started calling me not to unload, not to complain about relatives, not to lecture, but just to talk. How's work going? Did that project ever finish? I saw something online that reminded me of you. Little things. New things. She began asking questions and actually listening to the answers. If I said I was tired, she didn't launch into, "You don't know what tired is," she said. "Then rest. We can talk later." Sarah noticed it. At first, she still tried to press old buttons. When they stopped working, she slowly gave up. The manipulative comments, the "whoa, you've changed" jabs, they faded. Eventually, she just respected my space. All of it, from Mira to my dad to my sister, evolved from a single choice. I uttered one text: "Don't call, don't come over. We're finished." I took it seriously, and in doing so, I forced everyone, including myself, to confront the truth. You train people how to treat you by what you tolerate, by what you reinforce, and by where you draw the line. I didn't save my family by fighting harder. I didn't heal less by sacrificing more of myself. Things finally changed when I stepped back, held my boundary, and let them face their own behavior without me cushioning the impact. Silence rebalanced the power. Respect replaced obligation. Fear loosened its grip, and slowly, quietly, we became a family that functioned not on guilt or control, but on choice. If you're still listening, maybe there's a part of you that recognizes some of this in your own life. I'm not telling you to cut people off. I'm telling you this. Sometimes, the most loving thing you can do for them and for yourself is to finally mean it when you say, "This is my boundary, and I'm going to honor it." If stories like this resonate with you, consider subscribing. It genuinely helps me keep making content like this, and I appreciate you more than you know.